Hi there everyone, Matthew Yeager here with an answer for Chris Cowley Unix, who asked a few questions on the ECN Ask the Expert forum. Chris, I'll try and answer your queries as best I can, understanding that that not everyone is a storage geek, so I'll try and keep it as geek-less as possible. Okay, firstly, thanks for the great queries, Chris. And reading verbatim from what Chris posted on ECN, I'm just getting my head around this thing as I only had the time to start investigating it this morning. Let's see if I have my understanding right. The array and management servers are essentially quote-unquote free. You, EMC, put them in the customer's quote my data center so that I can lease space off you. I then buy licenses off you to use certain amounts of storage, each with a guaranteed performance level. Okay, the answer to that is, yeah, that's pretty close, actually. The only caveat that I would throw out there is some of the language that you used is more around the actual consumption, which I'll cover in just a few minutes. And I don't want to be pedantic on the point, but it's around this concept of leasing of space or licensing. And I kind of understand where I think you're coming from. You know, you probably come, I'm guessing, more from maybe a VMware type background and so on. So let me try and explain it maybe in those terms. What you have on the left here is, what you and others, probably deal with on a day-to-day basis. You have the applications, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to virtualize them, and you've got your virtual platforms and the other bits that you then need to put on top of it. But the challenge is underneath, then you have the storage. And in a traditional environment, you would have things like a bin file, you would have TDATs and that sort of thing. Because really what the storage admins are trying to do is they're trying to harmonize this based upon the price per unit, based upon the performance characteristic, and then based upon the actual capacity as well. And as you, I'm sure, quite rightly know, that becomes a little bit challenging if I'm trying to do, let's say, multiple applications, right? So really what we've said is, well, for the VMAX Cloud Edition, it's a standard VMAX. It's a VMAX 10K, which I believe is in the technical specs that are available online. But it's a standard VMAX 10K that then on top of that, what we've done is we've augmented and we've abstracted the way in which you provision storage. So really what you see here is this concept then of the service catalog. You have from bronze all the way up to diamond as predicted service bands, if you will, and there's 14 of these from bronze all the way up into diamond, and I can discuss those at greater length in just a second. How we actually do that is we've disaggregated all the other bits over here. So coming back to your point about licensing, the host IO limits, the front-end ports, engine compute, fast policies, the multi-tiering of media, what the media actually is. Basically what we've done is we've abstracted all of that, so you don't really need to worry about, is it an enterprise flash drive, is it SAS, is it SATA, is it fiber channel, that sort of thing. We've harmonized all of that, and then we've harmonized it against the engines as well. So yeah, how we do that is there are a fair number of these out in the field, and we've got a fair amount of runtime in the field itself. There's about 65.1 million hours of field time against 7,050 VMAXs in the field. So we've taken what we know of what a VMAX is fully capable of and what it will do given certain criteria, and then we've tried to deliver that back to you, the customer, by aggregating or disaggregating all of these bits over here. How we actually do that then is what you see up here. The reason that we call it Cloud Edition is because it's ticking all of the boxes in the NIST definitions around elasticity, tenants, portals, and the automation and so on. So the tenant comes in, would be you potentially in this circumstance. The tenant comes in, he requests storage, he requests a workload through the actual portal. And then we automate that request down through based upon the service band against the application. Okay, the next question you have is, let's take a hypothetical project in my company where I need to sell silver stroke gold level performance to customers who can choose 1, 2, 3, and 4 terabytes of space. The capacities available for the gold and silver service bands do not map onto that at all. How would VMAX Cloud Edition help me there? Would I just have to assign each customer a silver one or a gold one and rely on thin provisioning? Let's say I'm also limited to VMFS 3, thus a little under 2 terabyte LUN size. Can the service bands be cut up internally? If I just paraphrase that, how do the service bands work? The capacities don't add up. Hey, what's up with that? Which is a valid question, of course. Now, the answer, without getting too geeky on the point, going back to our disaggregating and removing the complexities of some of the traditional VMAX by automating it directly with inside the box, what we've actually done is we've linearized the service bands. So unfortunately, the short answer is no, you can't cut up the service bands as you're suggesting. But the reason that the figures maybe don't appear to add up is because what we've done is we've linearized from left to right the drive types against the engines. So, for example, if you've ever experienced purchasing or using VMAX's, VNX's, or the VMC products, one of the challenges in VMAX in particular is you'll harmonize or you'll balance the media against the engines, and then the next time that you need to add capacity potentially, based upon the circumstances, then you may be in for an engine upgrade, or you have to add another chassis, or what have you. So, shortly put, what could have been, let's say, a €3,000 investment suddenly becomes a 70 or an 80,000 euro investment. Most customers quite rightly say, well, what's up with that? What we've done is we've tried to linearize this so that if you see here on the left, you have all the way from bronze up into diamond. What you have around the IO density and the capacity increments is down to our linearizing those service bands. So as a customer such as yourself adds capacity for bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, we take care of the media, we take care of the chassis, we take care of the DAE shelves, we take care of the engines, we take care of any engine upgrades, the rebalancing or the harmonizing of the engines. All of that is automated and it's taken care of for you in the back. So all you need to know is, hey, what's my IO density? What's my capacity increment? And another way to look at this would be that you'd look at this and you'd say, hey, this is actually a three-dimensional problem. I have cost, which is the line, just here. I have performance, which is the line just here, and I have capacity. So an equation might be, I might want to do for my customers, let's say performance plus capacity equals cost, but I don't necessarily need to work it that way. There's method in our madness, and algebra in this particular instance works for us, not against us. So in this instance, you may decide that actually what your customer is saying, that's what I want to pay. I want to pay the cost. I know what my capacity is, and then you can deliver back to them, well, okay, based upon those variables, I can give you this particular style of performance. Okay, your final question in this sequence was, let's also say my project takes off and I reach the limits of what a single array can take. Does a new cabinet automatically get shipped to me, great word by the way, in good time for me to install it before the space runs out on the first one? If I just paraphrase that, how do I consume? And unfortunately, the answer is, and I don't mean to be flippant, but the answer is, well, it depends. It depends upon how you as a customer want to consume the service bands. Do you want to CapEx it? Do you want to OpEx it or open scale it? Or interestingly, you can actually do both. So, for instance, let's say I knew that I needed a lot of bronze and let's say silver, but I'm not entirely sure if I need gold, if I need platinum, or if I'm ever going to need diamond. Am I ever going to need to run, let's say, Oracle workloads in addition to bronze workloads like file print? If you don't know the answer to that, one way through that could be that you would actually CapEx it in the first instance on bronze and silver, and then you might use OpenScale for everything above that. Hence, why I would say you might be able to do both of those two things. Now, based upon the consumption model that is selected, that determines how what we're talking about actually gets delivered. Automagically, do we deliver it based upon looking at your boxes? The old true up, let's say in OpenScale, that goes away. We're actually polling the boxes on a daily interval with the VMAX Cloud Edition, so we know exactly what's going on in the box. You know what's there as well. We know what's being consumed, and we can have a discussion with our customers that say, do you want us to be responsible for that? I.e., do you want us to be monitoring your capacity and then, quote, in your great phrase, automagically just have it show up, or would you prefer to be ordering it, frankly, yourself? Either way, we're okay with either way, by the way. But really, what we try to do in this circumstance, the overriding design principle for VMAX Cloud Edition, and this is no marketing hoo-ha. This is the real deal. Really, what we tried to do was we tried to be predictive and not prescriptive, meaning we want to give you the predicted outcomes for what we know the box is capable of, and what we as an organization with inside EMC can do, without being prescriptive and saying you must consume it in this and only this manner. In any case, I hope this helps. I apologize if this has been a little bit longer than you would have anticipated, but hopefully that gives you a bit of a color and a bit of a better understanding of what's going on. Keep the questions coming, and if there's anything else that I can do to help you, please feel free to reach out to me again on Twitter or again through the ECN channels.